everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Carolyn, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you my top 10 eyeshadow palettes for fall. So if that sounds interesting to you, then just keep on watching. So I went through my eyeshadow palette collection and I picked out my top 10 eyeshadow palettes for fall, plus a bonus palette. I have around 30 eyeshadow palettes, so I have a good amount, but not as much as a lot of beauty YouTubers. So this is just my personal top 10 from what I have in my collection. So without further ado, let's just get started. So I'll start off with one of my favorite palettes in my collection, my Jackie Aina, my ABH Jackie Aina palette. So I know kind of like this section isn't very fall, but you have these two kind of goldish shimmers that I think are very good for fall, and then this half of the palette, and then this is like a duochrome goldish shade, gold white shade, and it's really pretty. But yeah, that section here I think is really good for fall, and then these two shadows, it's really just this quad that isn't what I would consider fall, but I think this is a really good palette to pull out in the fall if you have it. So another ABH palette, this one is kind of new to me. I know that this doesn't really scream fall when you first open it up, but I think these shades here are really good for fall. I think the only two that wouldn't make it a fall palette for me are these two shades, but other than that, I think it's very fall appropriate. This mustard shade is really good. It's like a mustard brown color, and it has some really pretty shimmers. So yeah, I love the ABH formula. I think they have a really good formula. The shimmers, I like the shimmer formula, and the mattes are really easy to work with from the ones I've tried. So yeah, those are my two ABH eyeshadow palette picks for fall. Next up, we have the Nomad palette from Juvias Place. Even the packaging is very fall, and this is a perfect fall palette in my opinion. I feel like you can't really get more of a fall palette than this, because you have this yellow up here, very fall, this orange, these grungy greens, the shimmer is really pretty. So if you have this palette, definitely pull it out and use it this fall. Next, I have my Naked Honey palette. This is another great option for fall. This is currently my only Urban Decay palette. I used to have all the, like the Naked one, the original Naked, and the Naked 2 and 3. In my opinion, this is the best quality I've tried so far. This is a really good quality palette. The mattes are really easy to use. I like the gradient, so it's really easy to come up with a look. And I really like the shimmer colors. This is like a yellowy warm tone. The only problem I have with this palette is I don't have a lip color to match this palette. Like, I don't have just the right lipstick color or lip product color that works well for this palette. So I need to get a color that would work when I wear this palette, because everything I wear with it looks a little bit off. So yeah, I need to get a lipstick color that would go with this. But I do really like this palette. The looks I've come up with have been really pretty. If you like warm yellow gold tones, you would like this. If you don't like warm eyeshadows, you would not like this. So next, we have basically my favorite palette in my whole collection, the Odins Eye and Angelica Nyqvist Hello palette. I think that just the quality is really good. This is my favorite shade in the palette. It's the only multi-chrome I think I have in my collection, so yeah, I get a lot of use out of that shade. But these shades up here are very fall. So essentially half this palette is really good for fall. I wouldn't really consider this little quad very good for fall, but this plummy shade and then these other shades up here, this is a plummy shade, I think is really good for fall. And these shades up here will give you a really nice grungy look. And the quality on this is really outstanding in my opinion. So if you have this, I think it's actually still in stock too on the Odins Eye website last time I checked, which was like a couple days ago. I was just curious to see if it was in stock. But yeah, when I checked, it was still in stock. So this may still be available. But if you have it, definitely pull it out this fall. If you were wanting to get it, though, probably get it soon because it is limited edition and I don't think there is going to be a new restock. So yeah, but if you have it, definitely pull it out. It'll give you some really great fall looks. Next we have the Bailey Sarian and Estate Cosmetics Venice Fling palette. I know this isn't available anymore, but if you have it, definitely pull it out. This was actually gifted to me by Silverline Makeup on Instagram. She read that I wanted it in the comments. I said I was sad that I missed out on it, and she offered to send it to me, so it's super sweet. So anyway, I think this is a really great fall palette for fall with these reddish tones and then this gold. And in my opinion, gold is a really good fall color for fall. And this is a super pretty shimmer color. I've had a good experience with this palette. The mattes are really easy to use and blend and layer nicely. The shimmers are nice, work well. So the only shade I feel like isn't like fall is this purple shade, but other than that, it screams fall just to me. So yeah, if you have it, this one, definitely pull it out. Next we have the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette. Sorry, it's super reflective. But this one is, I think, really good for fall. Definitely more like the Thanksgiving time. I just think it has like the cranberry colors, and yeah, this is, to me, this is a really good summer into fall palette too. I'm excited to use this fall. I actually got it Black Friday last year, so I didn't really get to use it in the fall time, but I am really excited to use it this fall. So yeah. Okay, let's move on to some Colourpop. First we have The Child. This is a great all year round palette in my opinion, but it's also a really great fall palette because you have these grungy greens. And this lighter kind of like minty sage green is very versatile. It plays well with all of the other mattes in here. So it doesn't really seem like it's necessarily a fall color. It still works really well in fall looks. And then these shimmers in here. I think this is the best quality eyeshadow palette I have from Colourpop. So if you have this palette, definitely pull it out. It is a great all year palette, but it's also really good in the fall. And I couldn't do a top 10 eyeshadow palettes for fall without including the Colourpop Hocus Pocus palette, or its Gather Round Sisters palette. This shade was a pressed glitter, and I took it out and just replaced it with an empty pan in case I wanted to repress something there or do something with that shade. But anyway, obviously, like, this is a really good palette for fall and October time, spooky season. And this shade, I don't actually have pan. I mean, like, I do have pan, but it's not from use. It's from trying to franken a shade. But anyway, this is a very fall palette. Everything from the theming to the shades themselves, it just doesn't really get more fall than this, in my opinion. My only issue with this palette is I wish, like, instead of a pressed glitter, they put another, like, transition shade or something to kind of do some kind of a gradient with these shades down here. But yeah, that's kind of a minor complaint, and probably not everybody shares my opinion on that. Anyway, I will definitely be using this fall. Next up, I have the Colourpop Hocus Pocus Witching Hour palette. This shade I franken this shade, or I used a different shade because this shade in mine had broke, so I just took yellow from a different palette. This palette is another great Halloween palette. Again, I think a lot of it has to do with the theming of this palette for me, but these orange tones and the shade that was in here did work better, but this was the best I could come up with. I do like the transition shades up here. It makes it easy to put together a look for me personally, because I'll just do one of these transition shades, then one of these shades in the outer corner, and then whatever shimmer I want to use. So to me, this is a very easy palette to use. And again, I think it's great for fall. I think it is on the Colourpop website right now, so if you didn't get it last year and you want to get it, I think it's your last chance to get it, supposedly. Who knows? Colourpop always brings things back. But anyway, that's that one. So those are my top 10. And then I have one bonus palette, and the reason I have it in here is not because it's like one of a top 10 fall palettes necessarily. It's just a really good companion palette for the fall palettes. Now, if you don't have it, I'm not suggesting you run out and get it, because in my mind, so this is the Glam Virgo palette, and I got it because of the packaging, because I'm a Virgo and I just thought the packaging was nice. I'm missing this shade up here. It was a pressed glitter, and I tried to franken it with a different shadow, and that didn't work out. So anyway, that shade's missing. It's not a shade I would use anyway because it's a pressed glitter. But this whole palette, the shades are looking a little bit different on camera, but they're all very like grungy green shades and like a kind of green gold shade. There, if you can see that. Wasn't the best swatch, but this, if you have it, I would definitely use it as a companion palette for your fall looks. If you don't have it, it's not necessary. But I've just noticed that this palette works really well with like the Hello palette. It just works really well with a lot of palettes to pair with the transition shades and stuff like that. So that's why I wanted to include it in this video. So anyway, those are my top 10 eyeshadow palette picks for fall, plus a bonus palette. I'd love to know your top fall eyeshadow palette choices. Let me know in the comments if you have any of these palettes, and if not, any palettes that you're excited to use this fall. And also, if you have a video sharing your top fall eyeshadow palette choices and I haven't watched it, let me know. I love to watch it. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed already, and I will see you in the next video.